Hey guys, Corey here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for coming to hang out with me for another Clash of Clans video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the miner attack strategy at Town Hall 10. If you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and if you like this video, don't forget to put a thumbs up on it, guys. Let's press play on this. First thing we're going to take a look at is a queen charge miner attack. The reason I like to start here is because you can do this on any base, fresh or otherwise. All right, a lot of times you're going to use miners for bases with hounds in the CC, but you know, just kind of dependent on what you're doing. When you have a hound CC, you want to keep your queen away from that hound. When you're doing a fresh hit, you want to do a queen charge, get your queen in there far enough, or in this case the stone slammer far enough in there that it can trigger the CC, and that can then be killed by the queen. Looks like on this one it does end up being a hound CC with just a wizard. Oh, a golem CC. Oh my gosh. So Valkyries went in there. They got their value. They even broke open the space for the queen if she wanted to go in there, but she won't. She's going to follow these buildings. But they drew that CC out, and they also took out a chunk of the base. Now queen is going to be able to kill that golem. In case you didn't know, golems are devastating to miners because when they die, they actually have a blast. They crack apart into those golemites. They actually do a significant amount of damage when they do that, and they can decimate a group of miners on them. I've seen it. It's not pretty. So queen is out there dealing with that CC golem, and look at the pathing that Nettie has set up in this base. Left this nice thin path for the miners. You'll notice the king moving his way around the outside of the base. That's his job. Sometimes you'll bring an extra P.E.K.K.A. as well for that. Get rid of the outside trash buildings so the miners can focus in the core of the base. Now miners can be challenging to see during an attack, and they can be challenging to heal. One thing that can help is zooming in on them a little bit, but honestly, the best thing that will help you get good at healing your miners significantly every time is using them for looting. They're amazing for looting for dark elixir because they don't cost any dark elixir in that army. So when you're trying to max your heroes, I suggest using miners exclusively, and that should really give you a good feel for where those miners are at, where they're going next, and where to place those heal spells, or in some cases a rage spell. So this base is wrecked. It just doesn't realize it yet. There's just not a lot left to it. Now, he didn't end up needing so many rages for his queen charge, so he goes ahead, does the smart thing, uses them on the miners. So a lot of times with a queen charge miner attack where you're bringing her into the base to deal with the enemy CC and a significant chunk of the base, usually your composition is going to run 2 rages for that queen charge, 3 heals for the miners. But on ones like this, she had that golem to deal with. She was out there for a while, taking out the golem and then taking out all 3 of the golemites. With the last update, we got 3 golemites instead of 2, so that held her up. She didn't end up needing the rage, so the miners got to get the benefit of that, guys. I got a lot of other different types of miner attacks to show you too. Let's go check them out. Alright guys, check this out. Fairly similar army, but honestly, it's quite a bit different approach, just in the fact that you want to keep your queen away from the CC. Satyam here already knows that there is a hound in this CC. It's the only explanation for how he does this attack, but it's a very smart way of doing the attack. This is essentially a mass miner attack with a small queen walk on the outside. You might have noticed he only had 3 healers for his queen. I've run this attack with only 2 healers for my queen, but the trick is you're going to want to get your miners in there soon enough where she's not taking that much damage. Also want to draw your attention down to the troop bar there, specifically the spells. There is no rages in this composition. A lot of times with a mass miner attack or a queen walk type mass miner attack like this one is, you're gonna run all heals or maybe just 1 rage. Look at that, you're poisoning the loon in there. Of course, poison doesn't matter for the hound, but you're gonna poison that loon, and a lot of times I like to bring 2 poisons just in case I miss it with the first poison. Once in a while that happens, even to the best of us. Once in a while that happens to way better clashers than me, so I like bringing that second poison. But what Satyam did there was he brought a poison and a freeze spell. So if he dropped the poison on the loon and then freeze it, it can't drop on those miners, and it stays in that poison spell long enough to die. I like bring 2 poisons. If I don't need one for loon kill, I can use it for the ground skellies on the backside. Ground skellies can really slow down your miners in a base, and in the wrong place, too many of them can cause a fail. They seem to hit those skellies 1 at a time, alright? It's like a whole, you could have 10 miners there, or 15 miners there. It's like they all focus on the same skeleton, and then they go back under, and then they come back up and hit a different for its skeleton until all the skellies are gone. So if they're in a high hit point area of the base, that could be devastating to your minor attacks. So aside from looking for bases that have hound loons in the CC, try looking for bases that don't have so many ground skellies. If you can find a base with only one ground skelly and a hound in the CC, oh my gosh, I'm definitely going after it with miners every time. 2 or 3 ground skellies, you might have to evaluate your plan, see how comfortable you are with it, guys. Let's check out another example. Now here we've got an example of a straight up mass miner attack. Like the last attack, the attacker already knows that there is a hound in the CC of this base. Probably somebody else tried it and failed on it, or sometimes you even just guess. If a clan seems to be running all hounds, once in a while you just go for it and guess it's going to be a hound CC and go fresh miners, although that's risky because if a mixed CC runs out of there, you're in trouble. But look at how he's using the heroes on the outside of the base to create the funnel. Obviously, Queen can reach in and do 2 layers of funneling, also the one inside the wall as well. King can clear the stuff on the outside of the wall. Once again, we see that poison freeze combo on the loon and just 5 heals to help these miners get their way through the base. Hound is stuck on the miners. You try and keep your queen well away from the hound on these attacks. You don't want to funnel an area with your queen that is going to trigger the CC. In fact, you try to keep her as far away from that hound as possible, because if she's too close, even if it gets triggered by miners, when they go underground, that hound might just move right over to your queen. And if you end up in a scenario, especially where you don't have healers, where she pops the hound right before dying, you're in trouble, because those pups are now going after your miners. It's going to be very difficult to 3-star. Another thing I like about this is this stone slammer on the backside. I saw this first at Town Hall 11. It turned out to be a very strong Town Hall 11 attack. One of the things with miners is if you fail with mass miners on a hound CC base, usually you're really close. So the idea of this is going mass miners, and then when it's down to a very little amount of defenses left, hopefully with no air defenses or single target infernos or very little, then you can send in that stone slammer and it can just solo 3, 4, 5, 6 defenses. I mean, it just really helps finish out the attack like it did right here for FC WHF Robin. Let's check out our next example. Next up, we've got Yo-Yo, and this looks like, what do we got here? 19, so this is going to be a Queen Walk miner, but he brought a lot of healers. He brought 5 healers for this Queen Walk, and he's really going to carve up this base. One of the things that you want to take care of for your miners is pathing, especially if you're investing that many healers. He's investing 5 on the Queen charge, means he's only got 23 miners for this base, so you better set up some really good pathing. So on the left hand side, he's setting up that pathing with his Queen, and he's betting on her living a long time by giving her those 5 healers. Sending the King down on the right hand side of the base and a Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon is a perfect choice right there, because there's really no air targeting stuff up here. So the Baby Dragon by itself probably cleared 6 buildings already. All right, as far as funneling value, working on its 7th right now. That is massive funneling value for tent camp space right there. And look at how far the King got. Oh my gosh, he cleared all the trash out on that side of the base, and Queen has done the same on the left hand side. Now we've got miners coming in. Also notice he also has a stone slammer in this composition. All right, still going to be a hound CC since he's not making any effort to pull it. Somebody else already attacked this base and they know it was a hound loon, which is why he's keeping his queen away from that hound. You see the poison freeze down on that loon again. It is very popular. Look at that, another freeze. Oh my gosh, that is wild stuff. 2 freezes for that loon, which means that you're getting rid of, if you're bringing 2 freezes plus 2 poisons, you're getting rid of a heal spell in there. So very confident there. I like having an extra heal spell for my miners myself, but look at this value he's getting out of this stone slammer. Managed to direct target an area where those air defenses are not targeting that stone slammer yet, and so he's getting big time value as a result. This air defense is actually being tanked by the healers there. Allow that stone slammer to get even more value before it finally pops, lets out those level 9 hog riders, which are beasts. Excellent choice to use on the back end with a miner attack. attack, unless that area happens to have the archer queen. If that area has the archer queen, you're better off just putting miners in there, because they will at least target and kill her, whereas hogs will just run around and get slaughtered by an enemy queen. So that hound eventually does pull over to the queen. She does have to deal with it, but it's not until much later in the attack. She doesn't have any other defenses hitting her, and as a result, she's able to get through that hound no problem, and this base is wrecked, guys. Let's check out yet another excellent example of miners. Next up, we've got Nettie coming in with a queen charge miner attack, and this is kind of more like the old school style there, where you're just following that queen right in with the wall wrecker. A lot of the ones that we saw before this were very fancy, very creative, but also fit the bases they were used against very well. So don't be using a cookie cutter army. Look at the base, look at your objectives. How can you kill the CC or ignore it if it's a hound like this one? Here's what Nettie did here. Actually, her, I believe. I want to point this out, because this was really, really clever. So drew the CC out over here. This is a fresh hit. She does not know what is in that CC. Hasn't dropped either hero yet up to that point. If it's a dragon, if it's a mixed CC, she's dropping the queen first. It's gonna go to the queen. It's gonna get killed. But since it was a hound that came out, she dropped the king first, so that the hound would go over to the king, not get popped by the queen. Brilliant way of dealing with a fresh base. Having a place that you're going to draw it if it's a hound out of the way, or being prepared to draw it over to the queen to get killed if it is a mixed CC. Brilliant way of hitting a fresh base. And look at this, still charging the queen into the base. So queen probably going to have to deal with that hound at some point, but not immediately. Hopefully it's in an area where there's not so many defenses on her, and she's able to get through without busting through so many rages for so little value. Because if your queen is stuck on a hound, she's not getting value. And if you're having to use rages to keep her alive while she's stuck on a hound, you're not getting as much value out of her as you could. Look at that. Queen finally goes inside the base right there, and she's going to just kind of pick off the defenses around the side, while Nettie is working on getting those miners healed up to make it through this base. Now at this point, I wouldn't be surprised to see that hound head over to the queen, but it has not happened quite yet. She does still have a heal spell. Gonna drop it down. I would have dropped it there too after seeing that giant bomb pop up. And not to mention that, but also another group of miners from the bottom is also heading into that heal right now. Ooh, gonna be able to pop that queen ability and get some big time value. Enemy barbarian king. Gonna be able to kill a couple of Teslas right there, a couple of archer towers if she, targets that stuff. Look at that. Now she's going to the Tesla. Is she gonna target that other archer tower next? No, now she's gonna be stuck on the hound, but pretty decent value out of the queen on this one. She is at the very least tanking that archer tower, which is a little bit less damage on those miners, which towards the end of the attack, every little bit counts. Miners are going to be stuck on that gold storage there for a while. Queen is still working on cleaning up those pups. Oh my gosh, on the last sliver of health, and there we go. Last threatening defense in this base is down, and this is a triple. Brilliant way of using miners on a fresh hit, having a plan to not have to deal with that hound until the very end of the attack. You saw when she was dealing with that hound right there, there was only one archer tower hitting the queen, which is why she was able to survive it without a rage. Beautiful job. Let's check out. I got one more miner attack for you. Mass miners once again. Let's go to it now. Here we go, straight up Mass Miners by Anar of WHF2. Must be a newer guy. Don't think I know him yet. So, actually using a miner to help funnel the king in the right direction. I love it. I would have used a wizard because it's less camp space, and the king's already tanking this cannon. Actually, it didn't even matter. But, look at that. Miner was actually going in and getting some hits on the Dark Elixirs pump as well. And using a miner for the same thing on the other side. If it was out of range of the mortar, maybe a wizard would have been a better choice. Could have brought another extra wizard, but hey, what are you going to do with another wizard on a miner attack? You could send it behind the king. But also check this out. Look at this. You got an offset CC right here, all right? So why did he use the king on the top? Because that's the side that's going to trip the CC. If you put your queen up here, all of a sudden she's popping the hound, she's dying, leaving you with a bunch of pups to deal with. So he puts the queen on this side of the base, way out of the way of that CC, so you're not going to have to deal with that hound probably at all in this attack. Since it is a mass miner, he didn't give any healers to his queen. You don't expect the queen to survive the whole attack. Oh, and I love this stone slammer value. Check this out. No air defenses left on this whole side of the base. So it's soloed one defense so far. Sweeper's fighting it. 2 defenses so far. Going for a third. I'm just looking at the Stone Slammer value because it's big time. 3 defenses right there. And number 4, 4 defenses, working on its 5th defense. This is the kind of Stone Slammer value you can get when you're paying attention where those air defenses are. No single targets, no sweepers pushing you around. This Slammer might survive the raid. Was that 6th defense that Stone Slammer got? Now the air defense is finally going to take it down. At this point, it's probably going to drop out some max hogs. That's what I would have used. Sure enough, got some level 9 hog riders in there, and they have their work cut out for them. That is a tough section right there, so we definitely needed the power of those max hogs to get, what, 3 of those defenses down while it was in a group of 5 defenses, leaving only 2 defenses left in that group for the miners. Miners are going to be able to handle it just fine. We got another group down on the bottom working on the town hall, so really he's got several groups of miners left on this. They're just running around doing the last little bit of cleanup, but I love the plan. I love the plan. Getting that air defense on that side taken out, if there was one, then sneaking in the Stone Slammer and having it just wreck. What? We counted 6 defenses that soloed before it popped, and then the Hogs got even 3 more, so big time value for the Siege Machine on that one. And there you guys go. Basic rundown of miners. How to do it fresh, how to do it against a mixed CC. Just queen charge right in, deal with that CC, create a path for the miners, use a P.E.K.K.A or a King on the other side, and also how to deal with Hound CCs. We saw a ton of ways to deal with Hound CCs, whether it was straight up Mass Miner with a Stone Slammer on the backside, or a little bit of a Queen walk in there. You decide what is going to work best for the base that you are facing. There's so many different ways to do it, but honestly, if you're seeing a Hound in the CC, give a thought to a miner plan, especially if they're not all ground skeletons. If you only see 2 or maybe 1 ground skeleton, come up with a miner plan, because that is gonna be money. Hope you guys had fun. I know I always have fun recording these videos. I really do love this game. Hope it shows through. And guys, I'll see you in the next video.